like flat, super titties, metal finished out. That last 1 to 2% is like 90% of the time, 99% of the time. So
Hey, cars!
Yesterday, my kid and I were goofing off, and I was kind of like, you want to go do some burnouts and take some videos?
nice.
And he's like, yeah, I think we need to do that. So then I walked into where my wife was, and I said, we're gonna go do burnouts down some empty cul-de-sac. She said, okay. So we just headed. He hopped in the bed of the truck. We grabbed a tripod and went and did a couple attempted low horsepower Toyota burnouts, but it was a good
Where?
time. It did. The 35s get real sticky as they heat up.
I bet they do.
They already have big old lugs on them, and then uh,
Right.
you you got to think it's really messing with the gear ratio of the truck because you basically making first gear a taller gear by having those 35s on there, and then it as they get sticky fast, it starts to grip more than smoke, but it was still fun.
You got rubber all over your new paint job?
No, I didn't. It wasn't kicking it out all over the place. I would have just left it if it did, though.
Hmm.
That that was always one
Yep.
of my favorite things in like Hot Rod magazine, where there'd be like the really cool car, and then the quarter panel's just caked in rubber.
Yeah. Right.
But
Oh yeah.
it's good to go do burnouts with your kid, and then tell him like, quick, grab the tripod, get in the truck, and then we leave before we get in
Don't tell
trouble.
anybody. Also, you can't do this. It's illegal.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
to be 13 again.
Right. Oh my God. I always told my old man to do burnouts, and it's too hard on shit. Can't do burnouts. It's too hard.
Well, when you fix your own stuff, it'll be kind of like that.
Yeah. True.
My friend's
Yeah.
2 or 3 year old son, I think he's three. He Yeah, he's three. Just about to turn four, maybe. I think, yeah. He always says, Dad, do your burnout. And then when he does a burnout in his like Tacoma or his Datsun or whatever, he goes, that wasn't very good. But
Mm. I got rid of my burnout machine. That square body. That thing was fun.
was it good for
I mean,
burnouts?
you just burn tires, just not even trying. It just had some skinny tires on it.
Yeah, I
I mean, they
imagine.
look good, but they're still pretty skinny. Yeah, I mean, you go over a white line that goes across the road, and it's just like you end up tripping the tires going over them if you're accelerating even a little bit. Yeah, that's yeah. Anyway, I wish I still had something to drive, but it's sweater season now, so build season as they call it in Wisconsin.
Build season. That's a nice way to wrap up something crappy with a nice term. Not you
Yeah,
in a sweater. I mean, cold weather is something crappy.
yeah. It's gross out. Really gross out. Not by you probably, but fucking
uh,
gross here.
I had to wear the hoodie a couple days because it was getting down into the 50s in the morning.
Mm,
I know.
nice,
We got all the
nice.
windows and stuff open on the house, so it's nice to save a little on air conditioning here and there.
Yeah, I bet that bill gets a lot in the summertime. Fuck, it's gotta be a
Uh,
ton.
yeah, you got to think on it more on a day-to-day basis. You go, well, today it only cost me $13 to keep the house cool, because that doesn't sound too bad if you're like comparing it to sandwiches. Sandwich a day for comfort. You know what I mean? But if you go,
Just
my bills through almost $400, that doesn't sound that good. So
sandwiches. I like that.
everything's
I can
sandwiches.
equate that pretty easily. Yeah. Oh yeah. See anything done on your truck this last week at all? Or last couple weeks?
I have been taking it, just kind of driving it, waiting for my most recent springs to come. Um,
Oh yeah, that's right. You told me you
s-
got some new stuff coming.
yeah, think I went over this, but I found where I was going wrong in the math. Because basically your spring rate is calculated off of your control arm's a lever. You have a certain corner weight, and then you have the ratio that the shock moves versus to the the wheel, and then you base that your spring rate off of how much weight it's carrying, and then there's frequency things like that too, like how many hertz you want your spring to be per the weight, because for the different kinds of riding you're doing. But I found that I was doing something really simple, like the kind of thing that gets you in trouble in math class, where you go, if you need something to, I needed to multiply my motion ratio by, because it's holding more weight because it's farther in on the lever than the wheel. But since it's a decimal, I was multiplying by a decimal less than 1. So I'm not actually getting my multiple. You actually need to divide the decimal to get the multiple of what. It's a mess. But one little math mistake, but I'm glad it was me messing up, because that restores my faith in setting up the next one. So I can
But you won't do
actually.
that again, though.
No. That's why I always tell everybody, the only reason I'm good at anything is a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, I mean that's how anybody's got anywhere. I mean, rarely has anybody just walked into any profession and been like, got it all figured out first day. I mean, they'll tell you they do, but I don't.
Yeah, suspension's one of those dark magic things too, that there's just really not that many people into it that you can lean on. I mean, the internet's a great thing. You can talk to a lot of people, but even still on the internet,
Right.
how many guys are building home built long travels, and then the even like one I talked to, he just goes, "Oh, I just talked to the shock company." You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
most of the people aren't diving quite as deep as I am. Not to say that I'm doing
Or have the
something.
money to just buy a bunch of different springs and see what works. I mean, some of it's that too, you know.
Yeah, or if you keep your stuff, even if you extend it out, you kind of try to keep the ratios the same. You can run pretty close to stock weight springs, but
Yeah.
that, that's all right. I'm just filling the data bank up with more information. So I think
Yeah.
I've been looking a lot at the frame that we have for the next truck we're building for my son, and looking at
Oh
motor
no.
placement, because I want to do a center mount long travel on the front of that. So then I was looking at different differential options, because if you want to bring your control arms in and have them, 6 inches apart, 4 inches apart from each other at the mounting, so you can have a nice long arm, have a big smooth motion. Um, you need to actually center mount your front differential, whereas most front diffs are
That's something that
offset.
brings in a lot of problems.
It does.
Can you get something like junkyard that would work for
So
like not super expensive? Then?
what I was looking at is a lot of people are taking like an independent rear suspension differential
Oh, sure.
and putting it in the front. So you obviously have to have clearance for
Like
your drive shaft,
those are gonna work.
but yeah, I could, if I wanted to really stay Toyota, you could get an older Toyota Supra rear differential, and you mount it in the middle, and then you base your bulkheads and your suspension mounting off of that.
Are you gonna get that nuts though? I don't think I'd get that nuts. I mean, this kid's gonna roll it over a rock anyway, right?
We don't have rocks in Florida.
You don't have any rocks? Come on, man. There's got to be rocks.
There's not rocks. There's they have
Just
coquina.
swamp, huh?
Yeah, they have a rock called coquina here. It's basically ancient limestone from coral reefs back when Florida was underwater. It's like the old
Sure.
reef. But they're just like these big, awkward, white, sharp, pointy rocks. But as far as
I guess I've been.
I could dig in
Orlando's
my
not
yard
really.
all day and never hit a rock. But
No,
yeah,
who would have thought? Well, I just got done in the last couple of days welding on a Model A roof. I did like, was it 4 feet, 12 feet? It's got to be like 12 to 15 feet of butt welding, TIG butt welding, sheet metal together to get that roof welded together. It was a bunch of shit. Yeah, it was a lot. But hammering it all out in the power hammer makes that stuff so fast. Like usually it's trying to finish it out. Even with the planching hammer, it takes a lot longer. It's like buttery smooth with the power hammer. It's so fucking cool.
equipment makes life easier.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, being able to actually use it and be efficient and be like, wow, I just banged that out super fast, and that's it makes it worth it. But then it's like, man, I wish I could. If you could do that all day, you could pay for the machine a little faster, you know.
Right.
But I don't know. Someday we'll get there. I don't think being playing on the power hammer all day would be exactly that fun either. Sometimes it's applying it to the car and you know
Yeah,
making a functioning part at the same time.
we all need a little variety.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Getting all kinds of FOMO, seeing people with their trailers loaded up to Vegas for SEMA. Oh man.
Is SEMA this coming week?
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of, SEMA Crunch build videos.
Have you ever seen, you know who Sosa Metal Shaping is in Vegas?
Nope.
They have a party, so they're right in downtown, not downtown Vegas, but close. But they have they do some really nice, awesome work. But they have a party every year, and it's like the who's who of you just it looks like the place I want to be, man. It's everybody's there, like anybody that's anybody seems like they're there, and their roadster shop party looks pretty awesome, but you gotta have tickets to go to that.
Hmm.
It sounds like it sold out before it even like kind of really took off for sale, which kind of sucks. But yeah, man, I want to go real bad next year.
Next year, maybe. That's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to go. I mean, I want to go with or without a car, but I think next year the plan is to have that car ready to take there, whether or not we have somebody lined up to have a booth or anything like that. But we want to head that direction with that car. So I definitely think it's doable because now we're just down to getting some of the last pieces of sheet metal welded on it, um, and then just basically get all the under dash components put in, um, and just get it a driver, plumb it, and wire it. So I mean, it's not that's definitely not the easy part, but to a certain extent, some of it's going to be out of my hands. So I'll be helping, in other areas. I mean, just uh, introducing somebody that's smarter than me when it comes to wiring and plumbing and all that bullshit makes things go a lot faster. And I'm excited for that part. Just because working with somebody to make something cool is also fun. Getting somebody else's ideas as far as mechanically, making sure you get your hands in there, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I like anytime I get to work with other, skilled people because you can pick up a lot of new things. And then next
Yeah,
time you're building something, even if you're not wiring it, you can plan ahead for,
yeah,
how you might
true.
wire it or plumb it later. So that
Hmm.
it helps with everything for the future.
Yeah, I mean, even just dealing with some of the collision stuff I've done in the past, I think that helps a lot with that. Just as far as like how you can disassemble something and put it back together. Because on these cars, you got to do it how many times? You got to be able to do it after you're painted. So you got to be able to fit the part in the area without scratching the stuff. That's the first goal. You don't want to be scratching the shit putting it in for the first install. Sounds stupid.
Right. I've been looking at a lot of these. They got like quick disconnects for everything now. Quick disconnects for all like your main battery stuff, power, and
Sure.
like a lot of the plumbing now. You can do power steering lines, quick disconnect, all your oil lines, all sorts of really sweet stuff. I've never
Hmm.
seen it before. Like for turbos and all sorts of stuff. Just a quick disconnect
These
oil line.
can't last.
No,
You know, for how much is rattling around, heating up, cooling down. Just think of your airlines in the shop. You can have something connected for a long time and it's still going to end up leaking.
I do think that these probably cost a little bit more than airline fitting, though. They probably have a little bit more QC
That's
on them.
possible.
But
I buy all the high flow junk here, so everything's like all my tools have the high flow couplers on them. Some people in the shops I've worked in, some people are just like, what a waste of money. Well, like I don't know, man. All your shit runs better. Makes sense to me.
yeah, yep, yeah, your half
You're paying
horsepower tool is
the
actually
air.
half horsepower with air.
Yeah, I mean you're paying to compress the air. You might as well pay a little bit to have better flow to get to your air tool as well. So I mean, it's all like everything you should be doing has some efficiency involved. Especially if your paint guns have it anyways. That's where all I just took them all from the paint gun stuff.
Right. Yeah, I've definitely been in a lot of shops where they only do Harbor Freight air fittings because they don't see the sense in spending money for their.
So stupid. So stupid. And then they'll put the orange
Water separator.
contaminant, three of them on the end of their guns and shit. Oh my god, this stuff's hilarious. Or they'll buy like 10 of them and put them in a row before their hose. I've seen that too. Some of the home guys. Oh my god, just buy a Harbor Freight air dryer.
All that stuff's coming down in price quite a bit.
You can get a Harbor Freight air dryer for less than $700.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty, and it works. I have one.
Yeah, we use one for our powder coat setup at my work. Gets the
Yeah,
job
this
done.
is works surprisingly well. I say that I better find some wood to knock on. Fucker, it'll be junk next week.
Yeah, we also did we ordered a Chinese rotary vane or whatever screw compressor with its own dryer built in and all that. It's like half the price of buying a Ingersoll that's made in China. And
Yeah,
I put that in and plumbed it all in it for my shop when we hooked the CNC up. And amazing how, I mean, they're like the same product because it seems like all the big names that you buy here, American brands, they're all just Chinese parts anyways. So,
I totally agree. Yeah,
and
yeah. It's
and
very rarely is that made in the United States.
they have cool names over there too. I think we got like an air horse, and there was like air bear and like flow shark and all sorts of cool stuff.
Well, fucking flow shark sounds tits.
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
I see you got us lined up here, so we get to see your belt line on the 66.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna need to do a video on that. I talked about it last time. I still haven't done it yet, but yeah, I'm getting every time I work on that car more, and now I just get more and more excited about getting it done because I can see it's like once you start putting it together and really seeing the hood through from the backside of the radiator to the hood through stuff. I don't have that completely done, but I'm getting a little more lined up now to how I like where I like how the hood flows into it and into the scoop itself, and actually it looks like it's just a continuation of the hood. It's just man, I never thought I'd actually like a Mustang this much. I really do dig it.
Yeah, there's definitely more maturity to the build that you've got there versus I saw you posted pictures of when the car came in, had like the fiberglass Shelby hood and with the big scoop on it and the fiberglass air dam on the front.
Yep. Yeah, they also had like the Eleanor style bubbly side skirt things that had the exhaust coming out the side, just
Uh,
because they had an Art Morrison chassis with exhaust out the side. So that was what they wanted to use. And man, none of it was straight. Like, you know how those cheap kits are.
right.
So if anybody wants a cheap fiberglass kit that came off this car, it comes with the back, um, the taillights that are the similar, like the 67 Shelby style taillights in it and stuff. But yeah, you just basically replicated similarly what they had there, um, as far as the quarter extensions, the deck lid. Um, the front end was kind of an evolution. The customer wanted a flat hood. He didn't really dig the big scoop in it. And then being able to do the flat hood with the Pro Charger, that was kind of, it took a lot of measuring, and we're like, I think it's like half inch away from the outside skin of the hood. So I mean, we're good, but it's close. And then I've always wanted to do some reliefs in the hood of a car, any car, kind of like I did in this thing, and it just kind of fit how the whole thing was working. After doing the front bumper and then getting all the front sheet metal done, basically rebuilding everything in the front end of the car. Uh, just the whole, like standing back and looking at it now, it's still as impressive to me as when I kind of the vision I had. So I feel like I'm really onto something as far as like how cool. I think the car is way cooler. Just the visual from the side and not having those squatty ass rockers and stuff. I fucking like it a lot.
It's definitely more full figured where you have the rocker and the fenders come down a little bit farther and with the shape of the car instead of just hitting the bottom of the door and going right.
Or having like a big bubble at the bottom, like making it look like more than what it is, like a body kit kind of stuff. to me, I've always thought that these cars had pretty awesome lines. You know, when working at the shop that we worked at, you know, doing high end uh, Mustangs for 5 years. You see, like, oh man, it'd be cooler if this line was just down a little farther. And you stare at them so long because you're literally staring at Mustangs every day, for at least 8 hours a day for 5 years, and so you get to kind of see like, oh, I would have done this and I would have done that, but where do you ever have time to or like an opportunity to put those into a vision, or into reality? And I don't know, just thankful that I definitely have a customer that's just like, make it cool.
Yeah, and I think that having this one customer and doing it, and then once you get the car to the, to the finish line, I think that'll show other people that they can trust you, through and through.
Yeah, that's
So,
get the car done. It's definitely going to be. We're going to try and take it to a bunch of shows. Just because how else do you get it out in front of people besides like YouTube and stuff? But you can't. I mean, some of the stuff on YouTube is cool, but then you start looking digging into, like, I don't want to shit on anybody, but that Ruffian
gross.
Mustang was all rattle can on the inside. He's like, he kind of brags about it a little bit, that under the hood and on the inside was all rattle can and stuff. It's like, so people are just, it's the high end stuff, but some of it's just rattle canned and stuff. So it's, yeah, so it's kind of like, I don't know. It's everybody's got their own flavor, and if you're in California, a rattle can is probably sufficient. It's not going to rust away, but I mean, you have any sort of humidity and elements like we do in Wisconsin or anywhere in the Midwest, your car has to be like a little nicer than rattle can quality to me. So being able to take a car to that level, like, they came in wanting this car, this customer came in wanting a nice car. I mean, it's obviously on an Art Morrison chassis with a Coyote, and so I mean, he's already got a bunch of money into it, so it's already expected to a certain level. And then once he's telling me that he wants all the stuff made out of sheet metal, that's a whole nother level of car to me.
Right.
Just a whole nother level of customizing, I should say. Uh, it's not just bolting on a different bumper or fitting on a different bumper, this and that. We actually made one and made it attached completely custom. So, like, there's some really, really rad shit to be able to show that off. You got to take it in front of people that want to pay for that kind of stuff too. So, I
For
don't know.
real.
You want to put it in front of somebody that's going to be like, "Man, I want one that's cooler than this one." Game on, let's do it.
Yeah, that's definitely what you want to get going.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not really, I'm just, some of it is you're doing it by yourself. So it's like, man, is this the right idea? But some of that's
Yeah.
just having faith in your vision, and saying it. I mean, even the front bumper, if you put it next to a regular Mustang, it kind of looks like you almost have to delete what you think of a front end of a Mustang, and then this looks good. But then if you put them next to each other, they look very different. It's not
Right.
like deleting the idea of a factory bumper, and even the R code bumper, the one that came on the car, is doesn't fit the car at all. You look at the side, as soon as you come off the fender, the line comes like straight down, and they make some better versions of them, but they still don't look good on the car. It was just a race car front bumper that they had at the time. I don't
Right.
think they spent a ton of time, like, making sure the design was that cool. It just needed to have some holes in it to let air through and fog lights.
Yeah, I think when Shelby was doing it, they were building or basically a race spec thing. They weren't trying to build a car to the level you're building. They weren't building show cars. That was just like an option
And it wouldn't have
on a
been on
factory
steel
car.
anyway. But
Right.
the styling is the one thing where they're not gonna totally revamp the front end and how a bumper attaches.
Right. Yeah, when you're doing an OEM, dealership add-on, or
Right.
you're
Right.
taking a new car and doing it to it. You're not gonna hack it all up.
I think it'd be cool to get to a level to where, not necessarily saying you're doing kind of like this car, where, I mean, we were replicating. I shouldn't say the whole thing is my vision, because it's definitely not, because we're replicating some of the stuff that was already there. So, I mean, we replicated some of the stuff that was already there, but then it was like, okay, let's make this, since we did the spoiler and the taillights, like, let's make everything flow with some of the cool ideas that were there. So we're just kind of going with it. But being able to have, it'd be cool to have a customer. Obviously, I think that the quintessential awesome part of having a shop would be having customers come to you and be like, just do your thing on it. I trust you. Like, that would
Right.
be the best, right?
I think that the shops that do that, they have some type of way to give a render though, like whether they're doing the
Oh, I
chipbox
know.
marker
There,
drawing or
there has to be, otherwise nobody's going to put money down on a car and just be
right.
like, this is what you're going to get, you know. But yeah, I mean, with AI, I think it's going to be easier to do renderings and not have to have a ton of people involved.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, it should be easier and easier and easier. But yeah, I don't know.
What's
Yeah,
your motor mounting situation? You said you got a half an inch of clearance. So what is it, poly mounts, solid mounts?
it's. I mean, it's got a poly mount, but I mean, it's pretty much solid. It's not
Right.
really going to go anywhere. I mean, for how tight everything is, it's pretty much it's not solid, but it's pretty much solid. They ain't going to move really hardly at all. At least I'm hoping. I can't foresee it moving that much. If it does, it's going to be hitting a lot of shit because I mean, everything is so tight with exhaust and everything. You know, it's everything's got to be pretty solid. So, uh,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
poly bushings don't move much.
the engine and transmission is pretty much as far down as you would ever want to have it in that car, even with the body extended down farther. Just with it, not even on the chassis, with the oil pan and everything, you definitely don't want it down any farther than what it is. Uh, we thought we could potentially get a Whipple on top when we were trying to decide on supercharging systems and stuff like that, but the I've seen one where install on a Coyote on this style car where they had a Whipple on it and they actually just cut because the Whipple, the new ones actually look really like aesthetically pleasing and they don't have like their name on top of it. It's just like, a really nice cast piece. So they just cut a hole in it, made it look like a shaker. It's like, it's really, really cool, but I mean, you're also just cutting a hole in it too at the same time, you know? But he didn't really want to do that. And I didn't think that was very cool either. So I always thought Pro Charger stuff was really neat. And even just those bolt-on centrifugal superchargers pretty rad.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, stuff. I've seen a what is it? C5 with a Pro Charger on it for sale. I was like, oh goddamn, that thing looked cool too. I need some sort of fast toy, man.
I've always had a soft spot for C5s, and I that might be growing up in the '90s thing. That was the new Corvette body style that came out in my lifetime.
Headlight kits, those look really awesome. They look really cool. They remind me of RX-7 a little bit. If you could change the back bumper, it just needs a new back bumper. That's the only thing I really never liked about them.
I like it
Which
on
I
the
think
coupes.
I could figure it out.
You can do it. Sheet metal back bumper on a fiberglass car.
Maybe you could almost make it. I thought about making it out of. You could almost make it out of sheet metal, and then or make a buck and do aluminum, something like that. Or you could make it out of sheet metal and then do a casting or not a casting, but do like a mold for fiberglass or even composite or something like carbon fiber, something like that. I don't know. That'd be cool.
Probably be the route I would go. More
I don't know.
replicable
That
too.
carbon fiber seem to when you see it done on TV, I don't know. It seems like you just have to have the right chemicals and the right pump and bag and all that bullshit
Yep.
to vacuum it all out. It didn't seem like it was really that overwhelming.
It's pretty similar to fiberglass, really. I mean, you can lay it almost just like fiberglass, but to get it real thin and real lightweight, yeah, they do the vacuum resin setup.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that bad. I think a guy could do it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool. If it was like somebody just. I mean, I think any sort of if you could redo even like designing. I always thought like being a kid designing body kits for cars would have been like the coolest job. Because you just get to play with like clay and stuff, and you get to fuck around and make this cool design, and then people just buy it. Like,
Yep.
and the coolest cars had the coolest kits.
I
But
I spent a lot of time on andysautosport.com back in the day. That was the body kit capital.
yeah, I mean, you could buy a body kit for damn near anything back in the day. Sunbirds, you could buy a body kit for a sunbird.
Funny transition. My the first car I ever painted when I was 15 was a '99 Cavalier. and we put a body kit from AndysAutosport.com on it. And my
Nice.
my friend just like I lived an hour and a half or so away from him. He showed up with the car and the body kit, and we were just going to take a week of our summer break or whatever and put it on, paint the car.
Hmm.
And we went to put the front bumper up to the car, and it was like 4 inches wider than the car.
Yeah.
Like
Did you cut it all apart and fiberglass it all back together and shit?
I sectioned it right in the middle because it was just the grill was way too wide. I didn't understand how
Yeah.
they were that far off.
In my auto body class, um, that we had for in technical college, it was just like imports and mini trucks was all it was. I think, what did we call it? Mini truck and an import fucking. That's pretty funny.
Classy.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it was like a lot of import stuff getting body kits on it. And man, you could tell the kids that paid up on their kits, because there was one kid that had like a 99 or 2000 Civic, and he had a urethane body kit. He like bought the nicest kit there was, right? And man, the dude bolted it right. He painted it and bolted it on. Like, it was fantastic. And on the other side, there's this kid had I think it was like a 93 hatchback. I think the 93s were the curvy ones when the first it started with the curvy style. Is that 93, 94, somewhere in there?
Yeah, it's called the EG.
Um, and he had this big elaborate, like this big, huge, snarkly looking body kit for it that was all fiberglass. And dude, he spent the whole freaking semester just cutting it apart and getting it to fit. Like, it's just ridiculous. I think he put like one suicide door in it, so the doors would like open up at the road. Like, it was just, it's one of those cars where it probably looked cool for a year, and then you know the bodywork was so, it's just like when you're trying to shove all that stuff together, it just never lasts. Like, none of those cars, you're trying to like bodywork the bumpers into the fenders, and they're just mud and the stuff up and stuff.
I use kitty hair
So,
first, so it's real durable.
right. Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun class though. There's a lot of people like all the S10s in the mini trucks. Everybody shaved their taillights and did different taillights. So everybody was kind of doing like similar stuff, but a little bit different and putting their own flavor on it. It was pretty fun. Like, one guy had Supra taillights on his S10. That was pretty cool.
Wild.
They sold it. You could buy a roll pan that already had it in it. It was like the most expensive one you could buy, and he was all proud of it. And then I think he had this dude had his rear end was going out, so his truck would like vibrate, and he took his tailgate off, and so his truck, the box sides vibrated, and it freaking cracked the roll pan. Yeah, dude, take care of your truck, man.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
I gotta start on my tube tailgate soon. I'm gonna build a
Oh, you're gonna
aluminum.
build like a
Yeah, I'm gonna do an aluminum tube tailgate that kind of bubbles out, and then my rear tire will be, or my spare tire will be mounted to it. I'm gonna do it laying down, so but the profile of the tire will be kind of bent out in the tailgate, and then
oh,
and so a big thing with like the pre-runners is you want as much weight in the back as you can because it keeps you running level if you're
sure,
off-roading and whatever. And then I'm gonna make it so it swings out and the tire will swing with it, and then under where the tire is, I want to cut a hole in the bottom of my box and make like a trunk kind of hidden
sure.
in the, keep oil in and jack and whatever. But
Well, it's a bunch of wasted space if your tire's not down there.
right, so I figure do a trunk setup there, and then when the tailgate's closed, you won't even see it really because the spare tire will cover that
Sure.
area. So
Nice,
all part of the whole picture.
right? Or that's not even going to be a usable truck when you're done.
I think
Congratulations.
I think if I can hold off on the four link in the rear setup, then it'll still be a truck until I do that, and then after that, it'll be like
Yeah, yeah.
not awesome for
That's a full
towing.
blown commitment there. You
Yeah,
better just have a different truck lined up at that point.
I think I'm gonna get my front suspension done. I'm gonna get the the rear taken care of with the tube tailgate. I want to take the hitch hangs down because it used to be under the stock bumper, but the pre-runner bedside's cut up at an angle for clearance in the back, and then I'm gonna do a just a bumper bar hitch that goes across the frame rails, so it'll be tucked up there. I can still throw a drop hitch in it and tow if I want to, and then with some clevises and whatever on it, and there'll be the big tube tailgate. So that'll kind of clean up the rear end and make it all one. What's the word I'm looking for there?
Right.
One flowing. My brain's not hitting words, but it'll make it all look like one continuous thing.
Cohesive, bro.
Cohesive,
Cohesive.
cohesive.
Cohesive design is what it's all about.
Yeah, I was actually having a lot of thoughts and discussion with a couple friends at that this week because drove my truck a couple days and I've got it sitting out. And when you look at it, obviously it's 5 colors and all that.
Yeah.
Suspension's red, but if you look at it, there isn't one thing that is like, oh, that's the standout part of it. And I was thinking about that because I'm almost like a little part of me, like the teenage part of me, is almost a little disappointed because you want to be like, oh, that guy's got a wide truck, or oh, that guy's got this part. And then the more I thought in depth of it, when we were, you know, when you get into the building cars, it's like the part or the kit that you put on it is the highlight of the vehicle.
Right. Oh, for sure.
And then
Every new
part,
every new part is the new fancy part, and you want to highlight that. I mean, that's kind of what products are to a certain extent, especially when you see them in a magazine. That's how they are.
right?
But when you're using that product in the right way, this is what you get. I mean, this is what, this is the idea is you don't want to necessarily highlight anything
Yeah,
specifically.
like you go to a car show and you're like, oh, did you see the Corvette with those wheels? Did you see the Corvette with
Right.
that thing
Right,
on
right,
the
right.
engine? Or did you see that car with the headers? You know what I mean? Like it used to be that the part, or for so much, it seems like the part, the Volton or the paint job is the standout thing about it. But because I've basically gotten into most of what is the truck, nothing is the standout product.
Sure.
It's almost getting into the territory of like a factory race style because it's wide and the tires stick out a little bit, but they stick out like just the right amount. And the suspension is red and flaked out, and you see it from the front, but it's the same color as red in the
Hmm.
paint. And like all this stuff, there isn't in there isn't one thing that somebody's gonna go and talk to somebody about with the truck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it.
So I was thinking like, oh
But
well,
that's
that's
that's also it's also like not making gaudy choices as well. Like,
right,
like fucking Euro taillights or like putting some other weird headlight in it,
right,
that wouldn't even look right. Like it can be custom, but just because it's custom doesn't mean it's cool.
right. So then I was kind of like, well, I guess I'm thinking of it as a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing because like
No.
if you were to park my truck in any pit anywhere at an off-road track or whatever, you'd be like, "Oh, did you see that pre-runner?" And it's like it's just what it is now. It's not the sum of its parts anymore.
Right, right, right.
Where most builds
Or
are
a stock truck inspired by or something like that. Right.
right. Most builds are I got, wheels and airbags and, a hood or you know what I mean? And it's not it's
You just shitting on air ride?
no. But But you know what I mean? Like people buy a couple
Oh, I
kits
get it.
and then they'll have like,
Yeah.
oh, I just finished this build. And it's like true and it's awesome, but it's like your car is the sum of its parts, kind of.
Yeah.
And I feel like for the first time on my own vehicle, I've stepped into, maybe the next realm, where I've got a composition of a vehicle.
Yeah, I think it's just having I mean this it's just having a vision and making sure you're staying with that in that direction. Because some of it is, having squirrel moments, you're like, ooh, new shiniest thing, and I want to introduce that. Sometimes I mean, even high end customers, I think, have a vision and they saw something they liked. Like if the customer wanted like wide body stuff on this car, on this Mustang, the 66, it would be a vastly different looking car.
Right.
We wouldn't be doing the stock ish style rocker. We wouldn't be doing anything like that because it would be a totally different flavor. But knowing what we were kind of, when this car came to us, we were married to some of the aesthetics that it kind of came to us with some idea in mind. So, I mean, making sure you're staying to that vision to a certain extent, you need to like have follow through and maybe a good vision to begin with. Because sometimes I think having a good vision to begin with is, I mean, you can tell that you've been in the automotive field or had the flavor for a very long time with how that truck is coming out. Like you said, there's something to be said about that. Having the forethought of making sure it doesn't totally look like a turd in the end. So, I mean, there's people that they'll spend years chopping a car and it's still like, what the fuck? Take it out of the garage for 10 minutes and look at it.
Right. Yeah, it's like I feel like I've lost a little part of me from like the Hot Wheels extreme. You know what I mean? Like there was this. You know what I mean? It'll be like when you're at a car show. Like I said, there'll be a line of cars, and then there's like one different thing about each one, or maybe one has two things.
Sure.
And I feel like this is the first set of new wheels I've ever bought, and
Sure.
I Photoshop, cell phone photoshopped using a couple different apps, all the different wheel choices that I was looking at. I didn't just go, I like this wheel, I'm going to buy this wheel. I looked at like six different wheels.
Mm-hmm.
I sent it to sent the choices to a bunch of people and disagreed with them. But I like to see why somebody was thinking one direction, and it
You like
sometimes
these options? Well, here's how you're wrong.
yeah, yeah. My friend right away, he's like, "Why did you ask?" But
Uh,
I wanted to know why they thought that. But I photoshopped a bunch of wheels onto the truck, and I was like, okay, this one is the one that's the most cohesive to hit Quintin's words for the day. And so I bought these beadlock wheels, and they're really wicked. And if I was to bolt them to my kid's truck, they would look insane. But you bolt them on my truck, and they
Probably.
just
Yeah.
they just look like, yeah, that's the right wheel.
Right. Yeah. Well, sometimes I think a lot of wheels can be the right wheel. Depends on the person, though. I mean,
Oh
wheels
yeah,
are like bracelets or some shit. I don't know. They're so like swap them in and out. You can have a badass ride, swap the wheels, and it even looks better.
right. Yeah, there's definitely wheels that if the budget was there, I would have gone with a different choice. But
Right.
it's just it's like I bought I bought my first new set of wheels, and they don't even like when you look at the truck, you never. I don't think anybody's gonna be like sweet wheels because they're not a standout item. You see where I'm going with this?
Uh, yeah, I do. I do. Oh, I mean, it would be the same thing. I've heard Troy from Rad Ride say the same thing on a podcast that they'll take the chicane to a local car show or they have, and it's done nothing. Nobody even cares about it. Like there was at Hub City Days here in town, a big car show that pulls like 500-600 cars normally. There was it was a stock Corvette, but it had LS in it, a stock bodied Corvette, but it had LS in it, and it had a lot of cool aftermarket electronic stuff on it. And it was nice, like super nice paint, like really really fucking nice car, right? And there's people he had to like. I think the guy should have had a fence around it. There's people like touching it all over it. They don't care. Like nobody can. They're just looking at. I don't know. To me, some of the local cars show stuff, and you can't get too discouraged by somebody you wouldn't trade places with or take any advice from. So some of
I,
it's that.
yeah, I'm not discouraged by any means. It's just it's a different feeling.
No, no, I get it. No, I definitely understand that because sometimes there's times where I'll have an idea and do something uh, or lay something out, and I'll take photos of it. Usually I take photos of it if I'm, and then like later on I'll like just stare at the photos, because sometimes you can see stuff in a photo that you don't necessarily see in real person or in real time. Sometimes photos show a little more. You're zooming in on stuff on angles and light lines and things like that. You can see a little bit more just because you're staring at one version of it a little longer. Um, but then also sharing it with my wife, because I think she has good taste automotively, like automotive wise, and has not necessarily saying that she's going to be the one, the definitive answer on just style, design, or whatever. Um, but from almost a woman's perspective, like, does it look aesthetically pleasing? Does this look better than this? Like, does this angle look better than this? Like sometimes it just getting somebody else's almost art eye. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah. I love other
When you're not
people's.
asking about the car, you're just asking about small design things that you like this better than this angle better than this angle. I don't know. Boy, we're getting in the weeds, aren't we?
Yeah, but I think that's where things take another, that's where you level up a little bit. Like your quarter
I
window.
think so. Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I mean, that's where it's like when people. Uh, I think the owner of Jimmy John's just came out saying something like, "If you think the having a business and you can have a work-life balance, like that's basically bullshit." Like, yeah, if you have a business, it's all the time, and it is really. I mean, I don't. I knew that if I was in a band previously to having my own shop, and I always knew that if I were to ever pull the trigger on having my own shop, there's no way I could be in a band at the same time. Like it takes all of you. So once you start getting into this, and I love digging into automotive design stuff. So so once it's in my hands and in my lap for something I absolutely love, it takes over all the time. Like I'm constantly looking at different cars to get different design elements and ideas. Just even as far as like a turn signal now. Now we have to figure out a front turn signal in the Mustang. So I want to try and find some sort of LED strip or an existing turn signal that I can mount behind the grill, like an existing Mustang, and possibly late model something. I'm not really sure, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm always looking for inspiration from different builds and different, factory stuff. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
Even for me, because I make videos all the time, I have like different notepads or notes in my phone sections where I just put like ideas. So whether I saw something in a video and I was like, oh, that was a really cool perspective, I'll put a note in my thing like, oh, this kind of camera angle and do this type of editing, or I'll see a really cool, like a turn signal. I'll be like, turn signal from this,
Hell
or
yeah.
I've
Yep.
I've had lists of paint codes. You know what I mean? I see stuff like that. So I'm always, if I see something and it catches my eye and I go, I think I could apply that for something else, I try to do my best to have little notes because sometimes there's too much rattling around in here, and then it'll be
Oh
6 months
yeah.
later, and you'll be like, "What was that?"
Hmm.
And then you don't sleep.
Yeah. Even when I re-chopped my car, I had a lot of side profile shots of cars I really liked how the roof laid. And then when I started really deep diving into where the roof, the basically the where the drip rail stops at the back of the chop to the car, if you go almost straight down is where the front wheel starts on all the cars I liked. So that's automatically okay. That's where my drip rail is going to stop. And then integrating this 38 Buick back window, it almost laid itself out after that. Like everything else was, as soon as I figured out where that line needed to be, that means my roof had to be pitched to that. And then all my answers forward, it all came from that. So as soon as you figure out, like, you need to look back, stand back, and like literally study what you're like. This car was chopped, and I drove it for 3 or 4 years before recutting it up and making it into what I think is really cool. So I mean, I started it for a really long time. So I still have kind of different ideas that I want to do to it. I think hidden headlights, like were they like a gram or something? Not a gram. Was it an old 40s gram or something that had hidden headlights? I can't remember. But it's like a hidden headlight doors basically. if you could style them, have the opening styled like Art Deco headlight, but have the doors open and then have the headlights behind. I thought that'd be really cool. Um, and then but then that, I don't know. It looks like a 50s custom, 50 late 50s, early 60s custom right now. But I think once you start doing stuff like that, it's going to start looking like a Delahaye, almost like, you're starting to leave almost the traditional custom area, and which I think is cool, but it's also, you take it to a car show and people are like, they don't even know what it is. Like they already don't even know what it is. They think it's, people walk past my car at car shows and they're like, my grandpa had, or my dad had one just like this, or my uncle had one just like this. And I'm like, oh yeah, what was it? And oh, it was a Plymouth. I'm like, well, it's not a Plymouth. Like, was it just shaped the same? Maybe it was just in the 40s. Like some of that stuff is, that's again, local car show stuff. It's weird.
We
I
need them though.
can't hate it too much because you would hate to see a local car show not happen, because that's where I got the that's how I've kind of, that's why I'm here. Local car shows. That's where I got brought up in it. So if a kid sees a badass car, that's the only reason why I would take a car like this to a local car show, like my car, it's Mustang or anything like that. Is these kids got to see it. You got to get the youth involved. Otherwise, I'm not. It'd be nice to find somebody to hire eventually someday. And there's not a lot of children around in Marshfield, Wisconsin, that have any idea what a custom car even is. There are some, but
Oh yeah.
there aren't many.
Yeah, I'm always happy to teach people stuff because I'm like, I don't know, it's almost part of the legacy. You gotta pass stuff on. I'm not saying I'm the guy that needs to be making a legacy, but like, somebody taught us,
Well,
so we had to learn the hard way. So it's kind of like if we can keep pushing things forward to the future, it's well worth it.
I agree, and I think there is a certain extent of upping the, like. I think it would be worthwhile for me to almost have a class, and this is not sounding, I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but there's lessons to be taught to some of these local shops. No, I'm just as far as like collision repair, like how to attack a crunched door instead of, you can fix stuff. It's all doable,
Right.
but just having a class to where the basics and fundamentals of form versus shape and things like that, um, where to attack damage versus, if you're just trying to making something versus repairing something, all that stuff. I think the very general things could up the level and knowledge of your local area, and it's not going to hurt anybody. Like, we're all like, we have enough stuff to do. Everybody can stand to learn more things, and I thought about that. I think it'd be cool to maybe do this winter, just have a, not maybe just a weeknight or a weeknight every other month or something like that, where it's just bring a project or a problem and let's figure it out.
Could be fun. I don't think it'd be that hard to get a group of people.
Yeah, I mean, it just be, some of it is, everybody's so starved for technicians right now that I think it might get weird a little bit, as far as like bringing, it's almost cutthroat around here, like really is. I shouldn't say it almost is, it is. There's body shops calling other body shops for technicians, like trying to get references and phone numbers, and it's fucking, there's nobody around here to hire. So the people that are around, they're trying to scavenge them up. It's really weird. Now there's chain body shops buying up some of the shops in the area too, which is kind of fucked. But
Yeah, I just was looking at Smithy Customs or something like that on Instagram. Another larger shop looking for
sure,
employees on Instagram. I don't
yeah,
think it's
there's a
a
lot of them.
local problem. I
Yeah.
think it's an everywhere problem.
I think it is too. I think, well, I mean, you're not making the money that a plumber or electrician does. I always equate it to that. Our landlord does a construction, so they're always hiring on electricians and plumbers and stuff. And man, those guys get paid. It's crazy. But I mean, to a certain extent, I don't want to plumb. I don't want to wire houses. I'd want to do this shit.
I,
And,
I
I
want
mean,
ideally just get the bills on auto pay, and I can eat anything I want to. And other than that, I think as long as you're having a good time,
right? Yeah, I'd like to have a house that's not like 25 feet from my neighbor's house. So I eventually want to get the hell out of the house we're in. But I told myself 10 years in that we're gonna move and we're gonna be out of this place in 10 years, and here we are 15 years later.
sometimes it goes that way.
'Cause- yeah, right.
Yeah,
What do you?
my second house definitely. I made decisions based on the things that were wrong with my first house.
Sure,
So, but
all in time. I mean, hopefully not too much time because everything's gonna cost $1 million. But
right, yeah, I know. I'm kind of stressing about. I want to build a shop this summer, and just the way prices on everything have been going, I'm just like, it seems like groceries have gone up 20%, and that's going to cut into my shop budget.
yeah, dude. Yeah, just going out to eat, man. It's fucking crazy. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
Buy less car parts, I guess. Fuck.
that doesn't
Don't
sound
do
good.
that. Yeah, I know, right?
I saw something that
Oh,
the average American spends $200 a year on their hobby.
we're all in trouble, dude. Yeah,
Uh-oh.
right.
I was like a week. What? um, yeah, but I did find something interesting for building the shop. A friend of mine does like it's kind of I don't know mobile. He's not really a mobile mechanic, but he's a mobile mechanic. He does a lot of stuff at his place, but he mostly does boat stuff. But through doing that, he's met a lot of local people. We're in a smaller area, and one of the guys he does a lot of work for is a custom home builder, and the guy also does a lot of teardowns and things like that. So it sounds like he might have most of the materials to build me a shop out of recycled material. So that could be, I mean, steel siding, steel siding. If I gotta paint it, I can paint it. If,
Big deal, right?
yeah. So if it, depending on what he's got, especially if he had a bunch of trusses or whatever for a pole building, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, buildings down there are different than buildings up here. I feel like they just are different. You can kind of get away with a pole pole building to a certain extent,
right.
pretty much all year.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The shop I work in is just a red iron steel building. There's really
Sure,
no insulation. There's like a little fake foil.
sure, sure.
It's just
Sandwiched in
falling off
between the
walls.
trusses and the steel. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
literally like not even aluminum foil thick. It's a joke. It had like a bubble wrap to it. It's like a silver foil with like white bubble wrap over it, and it's like not even 3/16 thick. It's just falling apart because it's plastic and the heat just fell
The
apart.
snakes out, right?
Sure. But you can definitely get away with just a steel building, especially if you have some shade around you. That would be huge. And then I don't know. I'm used to working in the driveway or whatever. Obviously, I'd like to get more comfortable. But
All the time.
yeah, it doesn't have to be immediately. Getting in a building will be a step up from being outside, and then God, I just love to have. I would be so nice to not have my truck
It
sit
accelerates
outside.
from there, man. I mean,
Yeah,
as soon as you have space, it fills up with all kinds of. I mean, you're like, get more rad shit, fill it up.
yeah. My friend in Tennessee with the GTRs, he's got a 30. It's like 24 by 34 or something, 28 by 38 shop next to his house, and he had it spray foamed, and all he has in there is a mini split air conditioner, and it's climate controlled all year.
Nice,
And it was like cold in there when I was there during the summer in June.
nice.
It was weird, but definitely, and I think the spray foam helps the rigidity of the building. You don't have like the metal growing and shrinking so much.
Oh, sure.
But I don't know. Concrete, I think, is the biggest hurdle for putting a building up.
Fuck yeah. What did it cost? 30 or 40 grand, probably something like that. I don't know.
I think if I do, I'd like to go. 40 by 50, but if I do at least do a 30 by 40, I mean, I think I'm $20,000 in concrete for sure.
Get it done. Just get it done, dude.
The bank sends me letters all the time. We just want to give you some money. Just have some money.
Yeah, right.
We'll just give you some money.
Hmm.
Um,
I'm taking. I'll take some.
I'm waiting for a big job to come. A big job for a guy in his garage. Um, I don't know if I sent that to you. 55 Chevy on a Roadster Shop chassis.
Yeah,
So I'm waiting for that, and then that might be the piggy bank that starts the shop build.
nice.
Because there's probably 40 to 60 hours of sheet metal work doing quarter panels and everything on that. So
I would suspect. Are you doing? Are they just like quarter panel patches, or are they full quarters?
full quarters. It's an actual Bel Air, not a post car. It has
Sure.
the doors are sitting on it, but they're not aligned. So I have to align the doors, align the front panels, align the
Mm-hmm.
trunk before I can even take the quarters off.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
take the quarters off, clean everything up, fit the new quarters, weld them in, make sure all the alignments are good. I imagine I'm gonna have to check rear window. I don't know how that totally works on the because it's not a post car. I don't think I'm really getting into the rear window setup, but
Yeah. I don't think I've put a full quarter panel on that kind of car.
I gotta imagine it's gotta be with all the panel alignments to start, and then going back through, just sheet metal work start to finish. I mean, it's got to be over 40 hours of labor.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. To do two quarter panels, you probably have 40 hours in one side.
Oh, good. That helps the
I mean,
concrete.
if you're doing it right, by the time depending on how they install, because if it's a full quarter, is it a full quarter skin or does it have that? I don't know. I guess I don't really know what the new quarter looks like
I
or
don't
where they
think
attach.
so. I My understanding is they have the quarters. My friend who owns the Resto Mod shop says that they're really nice. As far as
Sure,
they're not like a cheap quarter.
sure.
I can't remember the brand he said, but it's a full
I
quarter
like good
panel.
marker, classic shit.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll, you know what I mean. There won't be a ton of shaping to do, but anytime you're doing quarters on a car it's a Michigan car that is,
Mm.
70 something
Has it
years
been
old.
blasted and stuff?
The quarters are blasted. Yep, and the trunk floor and all that. There's just so much mud in the car, and it's so pitted up. They're like, we just need new quarters.
That's where I think a lot of these cars are going to be. I think there's going to be a certain amount of cars that get torn into in the future and are going to be thrown to the wayside or sold as dirt cheap because they are literally junk. But there are going to be some that are like, why are we saving this? Kind of like this Mustang, the '69 Mustang behind me. Like to the right person, they'd be like, why are we doing this? But if you're on a budget and you want to get through all of that metal work, you have to. This is the way. This is the route. Unfortunately, um, thankfully we're to the end of that. I have everything where I would weld it. So we're just holding off until next month's budget to get everything welded together. So that's going in the right direction. But yeah, it's still a lot. Like there's a ton of cars out there that could probably keep people busy for the rest of their lives fixing.
Oh yeah, I'm
Like
actually.
it's so bad.
I've been discussing with my buddy that does all the imports in Tennessee. My kid is real big into Supras, and so I've been kind of tossing. He'd said that he'd keep his eye out for like a really ratty fourth gen Supra
Sure,
body. Like an automatic car with no target top,
sure.
or somebody did some awful stuff to it because he knows that. I mean, I've cut cars in half and put them back together and done all that. You know what I mean? If it's that bad, I'll just build a tube chassis. It's whatever. But I was asking him yesterday. I was like, "Do you think we could get?" Because I know Japan's full of rusty, you know, '90s cars, and it's like, "Do you think an importer would import like a crusty one?" And he said most of the time they don't deal with cars that aren't like drivable. I was like, I don't need it to be all the time. I just need one time. Can you see the YouTube series? I bought the worst Supra ever imported to America.
Yeah. I'm sure there's bad ones. I don't think they fuck around with like shitty cars around there though. Like I don't think you can. Is it? I thought I heard somewhere that it was maybe that was maybe not Japan. Where it's kind of like not illegal, but if your car's all fucked up, they kind of don't let you just drive around with junk all over the place.
I mean, that might be true, but I know Japan's got a lot of yards full of rotten cars. I follow a lot of
That's
that
what I worked with.
guy with.
Sorry.
I follow a lot of guys that were in Speed Hunters back in the day, like that
Mm,
online magazine, and they do like when they go to shops. A lot of the shops have like their own junkyard in back, full of just like
sure.
basically unsavable cars. And there's a lot of abandoned cars there. I always see like YouTubers going over to Japan and trying to find
Hmm.
owners of these abandoned, sweet cars. And
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. It could be an interesting thing, but I don't. If the stars align, sweet. If not, we've discussed already. We know where there's a car that one of us needs to build.
Yeah, that'd be a cool car with the right wheels. Oh man, that thing would be dope.
Yep.
But it's a long ways away. I mean, not for me physically, but
Don't drop too many hints.
yeah, I know. I'd like to go look at it, but I think that's going to be a bad idea for me.
Right.
You know how that goes. You're like, I need this thing right now.
I feel like if one of us did go look at it, then we'd have to buy it, and then it'd be one of those things that sits in the corner of people's garages or shops until one of us decides to really dive into it. We'd be buying it off of each other back and forth.
Yeah, the only, I mean, because of everything it needs, man. I think you'd need, I mean, you need to buy the car and you need to buy, uh,
Power plant, transmission, suspension.
yeah, yeah, I shouldn't talk too much about it, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to buy everything for it. So, I mean, you'd have 20 grand at least in it, just in parts, just to be able to get like a direction going, just to like hold the parts up into where they need to be. And then, okay, this is where the chassis needs to be built. So, I mean, you'd have to have I bet you'd have to have 25 grand into it just to be able to get started.
Have you seen Stance Works on YouTube? Pretty big YouTube channel. He's building an
Same. No,
F40.
I don't think so.
So the guy from Stance Works sourced all original Ferrari, every body panel for an F40.
Nice.
Like some of it's new old stock that was for like repair that Ferrari had in a crate somewhere or
Yeah.
a dealership
No
on the crate,
shit.
and he has sourced every single panel. It's either was a used OEM one off of like a wrecked car or brand new in
Wow.
box, and he's building a tube chassis for it. But yeah, he's building a
That's impressive.
Ferrari
That's cool.
F40 out of just body panels, and then
That's cool.
he's big into like 3D scanning and stuff like that, and doing a lot of that. And he works with like Send, I think, is one of his big sponsors. So
So
they like cut him all sorts of cool stuff. But he got the suspension off of a Ferrari 458 Challenge, like the race car, and so he 3D scanned all that on the race on an actual car, so he knows like all the mounting plates and or places and
sure.
positions and angles, and then he's got them on the frame jig like mounted to plates where they need to be, and then he's been building the tube chassis with the body, and then he's got a Ferrari V12, which I believe those were a V8 car, the F40, sitting in the back. He's got a V12 sitting in there right now from a newer, from like Ferrari F12 Superfast or something like that. I'm not totally versed on all of those, but some
Boy,
of
that
it's
guy's got to have a ton of money just in parts.
insane
Holy
amount of money.
shit.
But I don't think he's
It's like, it's got to be
uh,
300 grand in parts.
dude. It's got to be a ton because he's got the brakes and the knockoff hubs and everything like that. Well,
Mhm.
maybe, but
I mean, what does a Ferrari V12 cost? Fuck. I mean, just the engine and the transaxle by itself. Holy shit. I can't imagine. And then getting that all to work, balls, that makes my head explode.
yeah, he's. I've been watching it. I noticed with YouTube car builders, either these guys like he's been into it forever. Stanceworks is it's been around as long as building making videos on the internet of car building has been out, but the more the bigger the car builders get, the more boring their videos get. Not saying like
Sure.
boring like as far as edit style and things like that. They're just like, this is me making door bars today. They're not playing any of the YouTube game. You know what I mean? Like, because he's got 414,000 subscribers. I saw yesterday when I was watching his video.
Sure.
But man, I'd like to get to that so I didn't have to play the "Hey guys," you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of that stuff on the thumbnail stuff gets like it almost gets it's almost exhausting. Like looking at how much time like everybody like even you spend a ton of time on it too. Like it's just like and if that's the determining factor, like I'm not in it that deep.
You got to get the click, and
Yeah.
you got to hook them in the first 30 seconds. No, I don't play a character that I'm not. I'm just
No,
like,
I know. I
well,
believe you. No,
no,
I
but
know. I worked with you. It's you in the videos.
but like, there's energetic Ethan, and then there's pretty mellowed out
Right.
Ethan. There's like, so when I just try to be at that, that higher end. But
Yeah, yeah.
if stuff's hard, I'm talking about how it's hard. If it sucks, I'm talking about how it sucks. If things are going awesome, or if I'm really happy, that comes through too. It's almost like playing a caricature of yourself, but thankfully, I'm already pretty wacky sometimes, so it's pretty easy. But I don't mind doing any of that, like the script writing and things, not script writing, but just kind of like I build it, I video it, and then after I video whatever, then I have to put it all together in like a palatable form, not just watch me do this. I do that with live streams. It'll be just me out there. Sometimes I'll be drilling something and the drill catches and I hit myself in the balls with the drill. But
It's pretty sweet, man.
but when I make a video, I try to make it worth watching, and it's a lot of effort. Thankfully, I'm a busybody, so I can do what some people take a couple days. I can do it in
You know
a
that's
month.
the pressure that you put on yourself, dude.
Um, so sometimes I'll, like I get it at work. People treat me like I have this big ego or whatever that I'm trying to be. They're like, why you gotta try to be better than everybody, Ethan? Right? And I go, I'm not trying to be better than everybody.
Gotten that too, though, at certain places.
I go, I'm trying to be better than me.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I'm just trying to like every time I do something, I'm like, what can I do better? And I've been building like at my work, I'm a production welder. I build the same parts. I build new parts and design new parts too, like products. But sometimes I've welded 200 of these things, and then I go, wait a minute. It would be so much easier on me, or it'd make this one corner weld look better if I did this. And so like, I just am always slowly tweaking to improve myself.
For sure.
And some people take that as I'm trying to show off, but
I think you're always going to have that, no matter where. I mean, in in any level, you're always going to have. Even there's always going to be somebody that you work with or somebody that's like. Even sometimes they don't put the amount of time in to learn to learn the craft well enough to even get to the same level you are. So it's just like the level of involvement. If you love what you do, you're going to do it at a higher level. To me, I mean, if you love what you do and you're trying to be better every day is going to be you're trying to make everything better. But what am I trying to get to here?
not
I've
everybody
had
has
this.
never been.
I've had the same thing happen to where I've had bosses describe me as intense because like I mean if you're gonna make the car beautiful, make it fucking beautiful. Like like why are we here? Why does the customer want the car here? He wants the best. So what does the best look like? Well, make sure your game is at 100%. And then when you get thrown into uh, uh working with people that don't have the exact same mentality, it's always tough. you know I growing up in body shops and being a young guy doing the grunt work and stuff, you always looked at guys that were um, a lot better than you, and then wondering why they left where they were. I mean, sometimes it's, um, and this is not bumping on anybody. So there's a lot of good employees, employers around here. Um, it's just a matter of if you're not doing exactly what you want to do, sometimes you have to find the avenue to do it. And that's kind of what I did. Is there are shops around here that did similar stuff, but they weren't, they didn't buy, they didn't have the equipment to do the things that I wanted to do. And how do you get to the level of being able to buy and utilize a pole max and a power hammer? Like, you almost have to have the thing. It's like, it's not a chicken or the egg. You almost have to have the tool and the, are you going to take on a project that requires a power hammer, buy the power hammer, learn it, then apply the knowledge to the part, to the car? It doesn't really work like that. Like, ever, I don't think. Sometimes it works like that in industry, but not in the automotive field. It's almost, you're not going to buy a $20,000 machine and then learn it for a job that just came in the door. I mean, maybe for some people, but it's not a really good business model. So if you're if that's what you want to do, you budget for what you want to do in the machines you want to have, and then everything else kind of follows suit, as long as you're advertising your work and showing your work, as good as you can, showing it off as much as you can. Some of it is like, uh, I don't think the customer should be paying to have something completely metal finished, unless that's what they want. Metal finished out to where it's like flat, smooth, like, like flat, super titties, metal finished out. That last 1 to 2% is like 90% of the time, 99% of the time. So if a customer doesn't want it that far, it's cool to take it that far, but do that last 1 or 2% on your own dime. Take a picture of it and show what you can fucking do for people. Show what you can do for even other shops or whatever that the product you can do. So some of it is like, yeah, the customer is paying for you to take it this far, and the customer paid you until that hour ended, or whatever. And then now you're going to make this is me time, and I'm going to show off what I can do. Not necessarily saying, so you're giving the customer a better product, not necessarily saying you should be doing this on every job or it's a good business model, period. But if you want to get to the next level, you can't expect a customer to pay for it. I guess that's basically what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I kind of always stick to the motto with that, like under promise and over deliver. Like just try to be like modest and
For
like
real. I mean, for real.
and
Let
then
your work show quality of what you're doing.
and then just try to over deliver anywhere you can, you know what I mean? And then
Mhm.
hopefully you can step things up and then you can prove that you're worth more and then you know what I mean, you can climb the ladder of
Yeah.
quality of jobs, quality of customers and things like that. Not always easy to do, but
No,
where
it's
do you
the
want to
hardest thing to do, because it's all investment. All it is investment. It's investment in time. It's investment in your craft, and it's the long game. It's like the longest game I've ever played in my life, because I'm building a car that's, with design changes, is taking way longer than I would anticipate any car to be built. But I'm doing the best I can in the highest level sheet metal work I've ever done. And all that gets, covered up with primer and paint and stuff. So some of it's like, ugh, I want to show it off now and show off what I can do, because anybody can just, like, mud up a car. There's a bunch of mud masters in this town, they'll just mud it up and, well, it looks great, right? Yeah. And then you bring it back to me in 10 years when it's failing, wonder why, and why it's failing. But I don't know. To me, it's just, you're always upping your game. I mean, to the Ring brothers in Wisconsin have always been, even since I got into this, they've always been like a high mark as far as having a customer that allows you to take a car to the next level. And this car wouldn't be where it's at without inspiration from the Ring brothers. To be really honest, there's not a lot of. It's hard to look up the baddest ass Mustangs in the entire world and not have a Ring brothers name be involved. Like, really, the first one that I've seen where they have where they attach the bumper where they do their carbon aftermarket ones with that they sell online. They're for their wide body kit. or wide body car that they sell. But that's where they attach. They look really badass. They've also done cars before that they've bumpers attached there. They also did a 60. I can't remember if it was a 60. It was a convertible, red convertible. But they also did one on a chassis that they extended the rockers similarly to this, but it was like almost a factory reimagining of bringing it. It's almost like exactly factory, but they just brought it lower. So this is like I would consider like mildly custom and making it more integrated to the body. So there's a lot of like, if the Ring brothers walked around and be like, stole that from me, stole that from me. to me, that's the way I feel. Like I've borrowed some aesthetics from them. Granted, some of them are like some of the how the front bumper is designed and stuff is kind of my idea. But yeah, I don't think I don't think you can build a car anymore without somebody walking around and having their toes being stepped on. You know, even the shops that I've worked at, there's things I've borrowed from every place I've worked at. You have to, otherwise you're not getting better.
I mean, you really think that the Ring brothers didn't draw inspiration from somebody when they started? You know what I mean? That's just how it goes.
For real. And I've heard them say before, like they made stuff out of carbon because they didn't know how to make it out of sheet metal. Like that's literally the reason. Like, well, we made it out of carbon, or we had it made out of carbon fiber because we could farm it out to this guy and he could make it for us. I'm not necessarily saying they farmed all that stuff out, but yeah, they would just make stuff. That they have a guy in house now that does some fantastic fab work. I mean, like sheet metal work. He does fucking crazy awesome stuff. It's that bald guy with the big beard. I don't know if you've ever seen him.
Yeah.
He's driving around that car they're taking to SEMA and taking videos of it yesterday. Fucker.
You got everybody.
I'm all
lined
jelly.
up.
I'm all butthurt. I want to go so bad. I've never gone.
You got everybody lined up for your not at SEMA party.
No. I should probably. I think during the week would be kind of fun because it is during the week, like a Wednesday night. Have something here, but I don't know. I don't know who would show up. It'd probably just be me. My wife texted me, "What's going on?" And then just be like, "I'm just here by myself." Yeah,
You got the dogs, and then you'll feel like you got a group. You know.
yeah. Have a bunch of eyeballs staring at me, waiting for me. Can we go home now?
Why don't you tell everybody
Yeah.
where to find you online?
You can find me on the line at the Hungry Hollow Customs on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. I'm gonna call them down later. They're gonna come and film me.
And you can find me on MySpace. It's the only place I'm available. No, I'm just kidding. You can find me everywhere. Terror
Oh
Shark
yeah,
TV,
baby.
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Until next time, keep fucking with cars.
Fucking cars. Fucking cars.
And stick around because Quintin and I had about 15 minutes of just unfiltered yammering, and I'm going to stick it on the end of this episode.
Yeah, baby.
Available in audio form everywhere you listen to podcasts. If you want to see it in video, you can go to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/F_CKINGCARS. And just for $5 a month, you can get all of our podcasts in video format, extra bloopers at the end, so you can get a little bit more feel. You can see some of the things we're working on, even some of our more inappropriate moments, and help support the channel. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification so you get notified every week when we post a new episode.
I think you need to do a video with that car and just walk around and show like the door flows into the rocker, the belt line.
Yeah, right. No, I should definitely. Maybe I'll do that right after this. It shouldn't take too long to get around it. And then just editing it later and shit.
Yeah, I've got literally a year's worth of video together. Well, I did that 10-month video short the other day,
Sure.
and like, so my phone's got a year's worth of truck building videos in it, and I'm waiting just to get my springs in so the truck's sitting right, so I can put my
Yeah.
big video together. Well, I got a couple of them, but the one that I think is going to get a lot of views, and then I'm going to do the one that's like the one I would want to watch.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if I do a video of like Tammy holding the camera, do you think I'm going to need one of those little microphone things?
If your shop's pretty quiet.
All right.
I didn't
I
have
never
this
tried.
forever.
Oh, okay. Sure.
I don't actually
We'll
use it
see.
now.
Maybe it'll just be me. Maybe it'll just be me walking around it because I don't know. Sometimes it's nicer to get like the right angle.
Yeah, and I think you should. I mean, you could always just start it out with your phone sitting on something. But
Yeah, it's right. Right. Right.
Cletus has like what 4 million subscribers. All his videos, he's got an iPhone in his hand. Okay,
It's fucking hilarious.
I see him at the track all the time. They're like, but
It's hilarious.
the videos are good. They're watchable. You know what I mean? Like we don't need like unless the
Right.
part that you get off on is like super high quality videography, it's not necessary. Like unless you're doing it for you, don't do
Well,
it.
I do think it's cool. I do think the videography part is really cool and really fun, but it's also exhausting.
Oh yeah.
Like it's really exhausting. Like you could spend all of your time putting together cool videos and be like, oh, I think we could tweak it a little bit here yet.
Yeah, I always don't let perfect be the enemy of good when I'm editing. Like I edit and I edit and I edit, and then
Sure.
when I start getting really sick of it, then I'm like, I think we're calling it good here.
Fucking done, yeah.
Now, if I'm editing and
Oh,
editing, and I'm like, it's good, but I'm still feel like it can be better. Sometimes I'll put it down for the day, and then I'll just get back on the other day, and then the next
sure.
day, and I'll have a bunch of ideas. And,
That's pretty much the approach that I have of anything that gets frustrating. Like you put it down and pick it up the next day. It seems like you don't even have to think about it in between time. You know, usually do, but sometimes it's just picking it up and like, oh, this is a lot easier than when I sat it down earlier.
right, yeah, sometimes you need to. It's like your thoughts get too constricted, and you just gotta let things open up
Exactly.
again.
I
Take
think
some
that's why
time.
this Mustang's taking so long to like making sure that what I'm doing is like legit and cool. I think it's actually fucking cool.
Right.
Like some of it's
Not just I got
yeah.
to get this done.
Hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, to a certain extent, that's how it was started. Like it was just fucking like it pulled out 3/4 of an inch of mud in that motherfucker.
I
Fuck you,
have you
mud.
have has that like the design of that evolved more and more as you go?
Yeah, it definitely has because I mean, even the quarter windows, it was they wanted the vents, the stock vents, and we talked about doing the Hertz rent-a-car windows and seeing if those were for sale and they weren't for sale. I'm like, well, I can make it's just plexiglass and shit. I can make that. And then it's like we started looking inside because it was a coupe car and they put this fastback roof on it that was kind of rusty. The opening for that hole is like all rotted out. So it's like, do we repair it both sides? Do we fix them and put them back factory, or do we just make a cool custom window that's going to have to be custom anyways? So it's like some of that is like, are you? This is a problem. This is a cool solution, and this is a factory solution. And it was always like, do the cool part. Do the cool one. That was always the answer. So it's yeah. I mean, it definitely has changed since we started digging into it. Um, and then some of it is seeing doing you can have a design idea but the reality is different. Yeah, sometimes you think you can fit some ducting in certain areas and it doesn't fucking work that way. I thought I was going to be able to do like front brake ducting through the front bumper and shit like that. It turns out this way is way cooler coming through the grill opening because it's already open. um, and you're not creating two extra holes and then people are going to ask why the hell are there two extra holes in the front bumper. But so some of that stuff has changed just out of necessity for of room and things like that. And I think, to a certain extent, have to stay loose with, especially when you're trying to package things together. I mean, it's not together until it's together, and that's when you start seeing cars that were like, well, they just, you know, you can see when sometimes that where the design idea stopped. You know what I'm saying? You fucking eating cheese, dude? You think you're from Wisconsin or something?
Always cheese. I don't think I've ever had a plan for a car that didn't evolve over time. Like it might have
I
stayed the
think they
same
all have. I
direction,
mean,
but I'm always like I try to keep it loose enough that to grow. Like they're like it's evolving in like a growth way. Like it's getting better,
Hmm.
not compromise. Um, there is
I mean,
compromise.
that's kind of where this one was though. It was, do you want to? You're spending the money on the car. It's you're either going to be spending money on the car or making it factory again, and it's not a factory car. So if you're going to be spending the money, are you like, would you rather make it cooler because it is a custom car? And then to me, that's where the restraint, you need restraint in certain areas, because there was almost going to be a scoop behind the front uh, wheel, like vent out, but it would be, now looking at it, especially since the other day when I cut the hood scoops, the vents in the hood, I cut them all the way open to where they need to be, and now having that amount of area open in the hood, like it would have been too much to do that in the fender, like way too much. Like even like standing back in every angle, like there's a lot of staring after hours that happens, because it needs to look good here before it looks good somewhere else. So there's even because it's on those wheel dolly cart thingies. So I'll get a like a step that's that height and stand on that too. So you're not looking at the car. I mean, this isn't where the car is going to be sitting. So you need to be making sure that the eye when you're standing next to it that's the best version of the car it needs to be. It needs to look good in photographs. It needs to look good from side profile. It needs to look good from 50 feet away, yada, yada, yada. But if it doesn't look good when you're standing next to it, it's bullshit.
I can only think of one uh, fender vent setup that could look okay, but I just think it's a different car at that point.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, it's very, I think it's modest on the outside to a certain extent.
I think
It's
restraint
not,
shows
yeah,
artistic eye.
but I think that will, like, I don't mean to sound arrogant, but I think that's what's going to put it above a lot of other cars that are finished to the same, like, same amount of, I shouldn't say same amount of time, similar type builds. Sometimes they go too nuts and it looks like they went nuts. Like, let's throw everything we got at this one. And then then the next one, they'll do the exact same thing. And it's like, I don't know, like, yeah, cohesive restraint. I like that.
So, like when I put the vinyl on the side of my truck in the white portion I left on my paint job, I put all everything on how I laid it out in my head, measured things, had all the vinyl cut, and then I put it on, and then I'm like, there is room to do more,
Sure.
but I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
more
Should
isn't
you?
always more. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm just like, that's why I try to sometimes like just because you can and it'll be more, but doesn't mean it's gonna be better. Like just because you could put another scoop in it and it would be sick and most
Hmm.
people would love it, doesn't mean it's the right decision for that car. Like
For sure. I mean, and you have to have, some of it is, huh, like, just because the front bumper is like got all these big ducts and stuff. Yeah, that's cool. But then like they don't do anything in the back of the car to match that.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, so the back of this car, the '66, they wanted the rear bumper's gonna be painted. They want it painted and kind of body worked into where it like fits good, but it's still kind of factory-ish. So not factory-ish, but it appears to be Shelby factory to a certain extent. But everything's gonna be welded on and smoothed out and a lot gapped and tighter and nicer. Um, so from the back, it's almost, I'm running out of idea. I'd like to have something in the rear valance that would look custom, but can't, like, literally, aside from having air come out the bottom, which doesn't fucking make sense to me. What do you do to the back of that car? Because exhaust doesn't come out. So like it's almost just got to be smooth and tight, and that's it. But but we did drop the quarter down in the back to make sure that when you're looking at it from the side, the rocker isn't too low. So then you want to make sure that from the side profile that your bumper is, uh, it comes down to a certain extent. To me, from the side profile, if the bumper is almost the same Usually they should be a little higher to me. It looks like it flows a little better, unless it's a car that's like sits on the ground flat to where that bumper that's a whole different style car to me, you know. So if you're going factory-ish, sometimes the bumper is tucked up a little bit, but when you bring the rockers down this far on a Mustang, that bumper is way down in the front. So then how do you make that flow? That was a hard trick. It was a lot of I made that front bumper, the corner out of it, out of wire, basically made a wire buck, and man, did I remake that a bunch of different times just to get that to flow. And it almost the first couple times I laid it out and put paper over it, it looks like a fucking boat. Like it looks like the front of a boat. Like I was like, no way, this is not going to work. It looks like shit. And then the more I tweaked it and tweaked it and tweaked it, it came out pretty good. I think it looks fucking awesome, but I don't think I would have came up with that right away.
No, first idea is not always the best idea.
Well, and some of it was, you know, the Pro Charger intercooler isn't that big cooler in the center, so that almost, to a certain extent, you're integrating that to the design of the front bumper. So that was kind of okay. There's a big opening and it's going right here. So and then it was just making the lines flow with the front bumper kind of flows with where an original front bumper would be, but it's in tighter, it's up closer, it's up higher, it starts up higher, and then maybe I need to do YouTube with all the different design changes with this thing. I think I'm gonna pull out like even the old pot metal front headlight parts and stuff too, because they have extra lines in them that I deleted when I made the sheet metal on the front bumper or the front end. So there's a lot of different stuff that's, like you say, take it to a local car show, and you're going to be sitting there for an hour with one guy, and another guy's going to be like, "Cool Mustang," you know.
Part of it.
Yeah, it's all a part of it, right?